Welcome to Talk About Scary, the show where we do just that. We talk about scary shit. That's right. All sorts of scary stuff. We talk about ghosts and goblins and ghouls, and we talk about places that are haunted, places that aren't haunted. We talk about murder, mysteries, missing persons, all sorts of stuff. It's all scary stuff. I'm Adam. Hello.
I'm Shelina. Hi.
Thanks for watching today, guys. A little bit of housekeeping before we start, as I say every episode. We have a new special that is out right now on Roku TV. That's right, Roku TV. Also on Amazon Prime. It is called The Ghostly Secrets of the Hotel San Carlos. Nailed it again. And you can see that Clay, Moffat, and myself go on a ghost hunting extravaganza through the famed haunted Hotel San Carlos. We're the only two people there, the only two Mo's in the whole place. And some scary stuff happens. You might want to watch it. I'm not one for flights of fancy. Some scary stuff did happen, and I was a little bit unnerved. You should watch it. Or if you don't want to watch it on those two things, you can also watch it on our YouTube channel, if you're watching our YouTube channel. If you are, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. All right. So, what do you have today?
Today, we have the myth of the Casket Girls of New Orleans.
I have never heard this before.
I'm so excited. I also just recently learned about this somewhere as well. And so I took a little dive into the story. Woo! The Olympics are on. I would have gotten a gold medal.
Nice.
You're welcome. All right, so New Orleans, Louisiana is no stranger to the occult, and there are hundreds of tour guides ready to share its rich history. As one story goes, a couple of ghost hunters in the 1970s ditched a tour of the Ursuline Convent on Chartres Street and intended to spend the night in the convent's courtyard. They'd heard stories of spirits haunting the convent and hoped to catch a glimpse of one through the windows. Unfortunately, the corpses of the ghost hunters were found the next morning, drained of all of their blood. Could this be the work of vampires, a descendant of the Casket Girls?
Probably not really. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there's no such thing as vampires. But some sicko did it, for sure. Faux show.
Well, let's get into it.
All right.
Many of the early explorers of the Gulf Coast were men whose trade was in trapping or trading. The first three French outposts established were Mobile, Biloxi, and New Orleans, in that order.
Mobile's beautiful, by the way. Ever seen Mobile?
Biloxi's beautiful.
Biloxi's also very beautiful. You wouldn't think, I'm sorry, if you were a northerner, you would not think these places are as beautiful as they actually are. They are gorgeous, gorgeous metropolises.
Beautiful beaches.
Nice, yeah. Gorgeous. Go ahead.
So the Catholic priests were worried that Christian evangelism would phase out of the French territory if the men had no women to marry. What is a priest to do in such a predicament?
Start marrying dudes.
Fair.
No, they didn't do that?
They didn't.
Oh.
They went to their bishops and mayors, who agreed to empty the brothels and jails and move these undesirable women to the colonies. The priests determined that these women would not make good wives, and they turned to King Louis IV for help. And then he enlisted the Bishop of Quebec to seek virtuous young women from the convents and orphanages of France.
All right, hold on. Who's to say a brothel queen would not make? She'd make a fantastic wife. She knows what to do already. You don't gotta teach her anything. She's been around the block. She just went for the brothel chicks. Anyway, and orphans, that makes me feel sick inside. I don't like that. Okay, go ahead.
The bishop appealed to convents, schools, and orphanages, saying this would reduce the number of women in their care. In turn, the organization told these women of a program called Pause. There's some French stuff in here, and I will probably absolutely not say this correctly either. So again, gentle reminder if you'd like, comment.
Can you at least say it in a French accent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Called Filles du Roi, or the King's Daughters.
Filles du Roi.
To bring women to the colonies in hopes of a better, secure life with a husband in the New World. And of course, the trip across the Atlantic was difficult and took many months. Many died during the journey. So, you know, New Orleans was founded in 1718 by Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville.
Jean-Baptiste You know, my friend Sylvie Cohen. Sylvie, why don't you just go on these French episodes? I should have called you for the French episode. Sylvie's a wonderful, beautiful person. Can't understand what she's saying in English, much less French. We should have asked her to come on. She could have pronounced all these for us.
Perfection. Well, you can gently correct me, so that'll be fine.
Sylvie, if you see this, harshly correct us. Thank you. We deserve it.
In 1727, Ursuline nuns from Rouen, France, arrived. Their mission was to educate the women of the colony and evangelize the Native Americans. In 1728, only 10 years after the founding of New Orleans, the third group of women arrived and were taken in by the nuns until they were married. So these women arrived in the French colonies with one trunk that carried all of their belongings, leading to their nickname, Filles à la Cassette, meaning women with suitcases. This trunk was small enough for the women to carry on their own. Again, it had all of their worldly possessions. Over time, the word cassette evolved to casket, spelled C-A-S-Q-U-E-T-T-E, and eventually by the 1900s to casket, the spelling and meaning we understand today.
Yeah.
America. The women and their cassettes were housed on the third floor or attic of the Ursuline convent. To protect the virtue of the women in their care, the nuns sealed off the third floor and shuttered the windows.
Lovely.
Yeah. When the women arrived in the colony, they were likely sick with travel-related diseases, and then after being nursed back to health, the people of the colony, mainly the men who were to be their suitors, found them unnaturally pale.
For not having any sun.
So some women experienced reddening and blisters of the skin under the intensity of the sun. This is an entirely new, subtropical climate for them. And their coloring is likely due to being kept below deck the entire trip, likely 6 months, as that would have been proper for young and virtuous women.
Nice.
And then, of course, when you're compared to the naturally tan French Creoles or sun-kissed French colonists, they would definitely look out of place.
I look like a pale damsel in distress next to one of those gals.
Sorry.
It's true.
But in my research, though, none of them had glistening skin. That's for my Twilight fans out there. You're welcome. Nonetheless, if a woman wasn't placed in a marriage where she was horribly mistreated by her husband, she eventually had to find other means of survival because the nuns would not keep you. King Louis IV heard of this and ordered the women to be sent back to France. So the women packed all of their possessions into their cassettes. When the women and nuns later returned to retrieve their belongings from the third floor, all of the cassettes were found empty. None of the items were recovered after searching the entire floor. And considering the precautions that the nun took in securing the room, it was a great shock, and everyone feared supernatural forces.
Ooh, a supernatural force had that 5-finger discount, took all that stuff and probably just sold it somewhere else.
Well, one legend states that vampires were finding it difficult to hide themselves in the old world. They saw this program as an opportunity to increase their numbers in the new world. Pale, younger, forever girls made the journey to the French colonies.
Get yourself a forever girl. On sale now.
Yikes. Others were stowed away in cassettes, essentially being smuggled into America.
Oh.
They would make their way to the Ursuline convent. At night, they prowled for victims. They left blood-drained corpses all throughout New Orleans. The nuns requested the Pope bless 800 silver screws that were used to permanently seal the third floor of the convent. And Pope John Paul II is said to have re-blessed the screws during his visit to New Orleans in 1987. So just putting that extra spit shine on there for it. So the third floor of the Ursuline convent remains closed off. People report seeing ghosts of the nuns roaming the main foyer and between the first and second floors, seemingly tending to the spirits of the sick and dying.
All right. Okay, so some nun or some nuns stole all their shit. Let's just say what it is. And then like, oh, the vampires did it. There's a bunch of vampires that stole that stuff. And now they're murdering everybody. So let's seal this up so nobody can investigate who stole that stuff anymore. That's what I feel like happened. It's a very valuable attic space. A lot of storage there. Yeah, you had to cover up your Catholic misdeeds somehow. You know, we should have done that. The Catholics should have done that with the new scandals they've had. They could have just had a third floor and locked all their scandals to the third floor. And just said vampires did it again. I wonder if that would have worked twice. Oops. I'm Catholic. It's fine. I'm Catholic. I can't help it. Vampires, huh?
Yeah, vampires.
And those two dudes in the 70s drained of all their blood.
Dead.
All the valuables gone too, or just the blood?
I didn't mention the valuables, but the blood is very valuable.
And do you need that? You need that to live. You need that. What else you got for me? Anything?
Nothing else.
You got like 30 pages.
I would just recommend that whenever you're in New Orleans, definitely take either a ghost tour. I've taken a cemetery tour before, and if I remember correctly, Nicolas Cage has like a marble pyramid where he's going to be buried. So
that sounds legit.
You can get a little glimpse into that. Of course, like Marie Laveau. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
Yeah. Anyways, you get to see her tomb and all of those things. New Orleans is a fantastic place to visit, even if you're not into that. It's just beautiful history. The architecture is beautiful. The food is insane.
If you like crawfish, you gross. That's all I'd say about that. No, they have crawfish there. I can't get behind any shellfish.
Delicious.
Other bugs. There's also, in New Orleans, there was a woman who was a slave owner. That I guess she was the most abusive, violent slave owner in the U.S. ever.
I think that's Marie Laveau.
I think it might be her, but
I can't remember the voodoo priestess, but
she might have been her. But like, I was like, wow, dude, that's crazy. They did a lot of crazy ass shit down there. I like New Orleans. I stayed at the Harris Casino one time, and Mother's. Right across the street from it. If you're in Louisiana and you work at Mother's or you like Mother's, it's a great breakfast spot. Go ahead and send a freeze-dried package of food. I would really enjoy that. We can give you the address if you ask on the YouTube channel. Mother's, oh my God, that food is so good. It's so good. They got some good food, they do.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like shellfish. Just stop me.
You calm down, because it's delicious. All of it. All of the food in New Orleans is delicious.
Especially the human blood. Well, I like vampires. I hope you guys like vampires. Team Edward. Is that who the vampire is?
Good job. Yeah.
Oh. So yeah. So thanks again. I actually like this one a lot. This is you've really struck out with all your other ones you've done. This is a good one.
Oh, good.
I'm happy you've actually stepped up to the plate today and done your due diligence.
Yeah.
Put a little effort forward.
I've been very lazy.
Yeah, doing the research and not just sitting here talking. You know, it's hard to carry the whole conversation the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much. That was wonderful, Shelina. We appreciate you.
You're welcome.
And if you guys appreciate Shelina, you like what you heard today, if you you want to share this with your family and friends, that'd be cool. But you know what else would be cool? If you could like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate that. Does wonders for our morale here, our psyche, makes us feel like we're worthwhile. So go ahead and do that. And thanks so much for watching. As always, guys, please, 1, 2, 3, creep it real. All right, see you guys later. Bye. This one was a good one.
I think my favorite part is Casket.
Casket. I like Casket. Marie Laveau,